Hello HOPS fans, welcome to a pretty significant update in the development of HOPS as we've launched the first iteration of our new Loan Working Register tool. This is a development on Time Register that you've been asking us and encouraging us to do for a very long time, so thank you very much for that. Just like everything in HOPS has always happened, because you've identified that it's needed and encouraged us to build it, and that's exactly why we've now built the Loan Working Register. This video is going to be for administrators. I'm not going to make a video for users for this part of the system because it's very simple for them. They just press yes or no as to whether they're working alone. This video is going to be for those who are involved either as a HOPS admin or as a senior manager responsible for loan working. So here we are in our demo version of HOPS. There's one new permission that you'll need in order to access the loan working system as a HOPS admin or a manager, and that's permission 453, new permission 453 to access the loan working register. Again, that's only for the managers, not for all users. All users will be able to access it once you switch it on without needing any extra permissions. So we will go to the services menu here on the right hand side of the menu system. You'll notice that Time Register is now its own menu option. It's not squirreled away at the bottom of the HOPS ID cards menu anymore. There's two options in the Time Register menu. There's Time Register, which takes you to the same page that it always has done, and there's a new option, Loan Working Register, which actually takes you to the same page but goes straight to this new Loan Working tab in Time Register. I've already allocated myself permission 453, incidentally, to a group that I belong to, so that's why I can already see this stuff. So here's the loan working register for today. There were two people who were loan working. Fat Controller was loan working between 1825 and 1848. He signed on at 1825 and off at 1848. And his loan working little symbol there is in green, just to let you know that his loan working has been completed. So he's on the loan working list for today. But he has actually signed off now. Loan working is over, so it's green. Whereas Danny Adamson, he signed on the loan working register at 1951 and has not yet ended his loan working, so his LW is red because he is currently loan working, active loan working going on. On this page, this Loan Working Register tab is the one and only official list, as far as HOPS is concerned, of who is loan working and who isn't. And a green LW means they finished loan working completed, and a red LW means that they're currently loan working. There are some other places in the system where you'll see LW in grey, and that just means it was loan working at the time, but it may not still be now. So the Loan Working Register, this tab is the official place that gives you the current status. If I go back and look, for example, at the reconciled Time Register, I'll see LW by some of these test ones that I was doing. It was loan working at the time, but it may not still be now. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do in order to make use of the loan working system is to switch it on. So you'll go to the System tab here. You'll see Loan Working Register switched off. A little button to say switch on. If you press switch on, the page will reload and you'll notice it now says Loan Working Register yes, and the button is now there to switch it off. It may take up to 15 minutes for your remote Time Register devices to notice that Loan Working Register has now been switched on. They repoll every 15 minutes, or you can explicitly refresh them, and then when you refresh they will poll and find out that loan working is now allowed. So in a separate tab here, I've got a Time Register device. It's in individuals mode. It's already registered to my card. And we'll have a look at the flow that the user goes through to register as loan working or to tell the system that they're not loan working anymore. It only works in individuals mode. It doesn't work in organization mode, so users will be able to do it on their smartphones, but not at the tablets at signing on points. And the reason for that is there's two reasons, two potential future developments that we hope to do. One is to challenge the loan working person every so often, every period of time, to say, you're still loan working, are you still okay? And get them to press a button to say, yes, I'm still okay. And if they don't press it, then an alarm can go off. And that also serves the purpose of reminding them that they are on the loan working register. And if they get home and it goes beep, 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 are you still okay? And they might go, oh, I forgot I was signed on in the loan working register. Beep, I'll sign off. and reduce the possibility that they will cause inconvenience to the company by forgetting that they're signed on in the Loan Working Register. Because of course the Loan Working Register is only good at mitigating this risk if somebody at the end of the day is going to look at it and see that everybody who was loan working is checked out. But we'll look at that in a second. So I'll just refresh this tab so that it definitely recognises that loan working is now allowed. I won't make you wait 15 minutes. I'll press start. It says hello Fat Controller because obviously it's registered to my card so it knows who I am already. And I'll press sign on. If there are any departments for me to choose from, I'll choose a department, and if the department has any projects, then I'll choose a project. Obviously, if you haven't populated it with any departments or projects, the user will just skip this step completely. If there are any late notices to be acknowledged, then I'll have to acknowledge the late notices. This is all old-fashioned TR stuff, that's not a problem. Nothing new here. Obviously, if you don't put any late notices in, the user will just miss this step completely. But when I now press continue, I'll get asked the question, are you working on your own? Yes or no. That's all the user has to do, yes or no. And if they press no, the system will just carry on and it'll say, thank you very much, you're now signed on. If they press yes, then it will put them on the Loan Working Register and confirm when that's taken place. So I'll press yes. And you see the system down here says, thank you, Fat Controller, you are now signed in and loan working. And it has to say and loan working to give that user that positive confirmation that they are on the Loan Working Register. Time Register devices, as you'll be aware, work when they're offline. That's one of the main features of Time Register, is that it doesn't require a continuous internet connection. If it goes offline, it just stores up the transactions, and when it next sees the internet, it uploads them all. And that's perfectly fine for normal signing on and off, but obviously not so fine for loan working. Because if a device was offline, a user could come along, sign on that they're loan working, the device might not see internet for 3 weeks, the company wouldn't know that that person was loan working. So there is a slight difference to how Time Register behaves if the user presses yes, I am loan working, which is that it immediately contacts HOPS, puts the person on the Loan Working Register, and then gets a confirmation back from HOPS to say, yep, we have put that person on the Loan Working Register, and only then does the device say, yes, you are now signed in and on the Loan Working Register. If it doesn't get that confirmation back from HOPS, it puts a much more prominent message on the screen saying, we accept your sign on, but we cannot put you on the Loan Working Register because we can't contact HOPS at the moment. You'll have to follow whatever the local procedure is for signing on the Loan Working Register when you can't do it via Time Register, which will presumably be phoning up the duty officer and getting them to write it in manually. So we signed on there and said we were loan working. If I go back across to HOPS and I go to the Loan Working tab, here's another entry in the list. It's the same person, Fat Controller, as before, but that doesn't matter. Last time he signed on at 18:25 and off at 18:48, and he's now signed on again at 20:07, which is the time now. A red LW, because I'm currently loan working, and no end time. I'll come back to this end loan working in a moment. It also tells me any clues from when the person signed on, just in case I do need to go and find them. These are some clues from when they signed on of what department and project and site, if it was stated that they said they were working at. I've also got the familiar link to Time Register. If I click on TR, it'll take me to the Time Register page. In the same way that you could always have got to from Time Register, and tell me everything that it knows about the transaction. I haven't signed out, I've only signed in. That's exactly where I am. That's the HOPS office in Totnes. Here again you'll see the grey LW to say, yep, at the time that person signed in they did say they were loan working, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're still loan working. The one and only true source where you'll find that information is in the Loan Working Register, which is this page we were on a second ago. Now, the user will stay on the Loan Working Register, which actually is stored separately from Time Register. So if Time Register sort of, links signs in and out, and if you join and split records and all that stuff, that won't affect the Loan Working Register in any way. The Loan Working Register, once the record is in there, sits completely separately from the Time Register record to make sure that the Loan Working Register can't be contaminated by administration going on in the Time Register system. The user will stay on in the Loan Working Register until they either sign out, which we'll do now, or they sign in again and say they are no longer loan working. So we'll do this now. Press start to begin, and this time I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much. You are now signed out. I'll go back over to the Loan Working Register. I'll click away and then come back again. Here we are. And now I've signed out, or the Fat Controller has signed out at 2010, time off LWR 2010. The LW has gone green. And again, if I want to, I can look at the two time register records. I'll go back to the loan working register now. Now, if a user signed on twice in a row, which of course Time Register can cope with because it might happen that a person might do it. So I'll sign on twice in a row, and both times I'll say, yes, I'm lone working. And we already know that Time Register can cope with this, but now we want to see what happens with regards to lone working. So I signed on once there and said I was lone working. I'll now sign on again. They might both be in the same minutes, but that's not a problem. Continue. Yes, I am lone working again. And if we now go back over to the lone working register, we'll see what's been reported is exactly what happened. I signed on twice, so I've got 2 entries in the lone working register. Obviously, we hope that users won't do that, but the lone working register will accurately record what's happened. And what's happened there is that the Fat Controller signed in twice in a row, and on both occasions he said he was lone working. Now, if the Fat Controller were to now sign out, both of these lone working entries would be closed. Or if he signed in and said no longer lone working, all of his outstanding Time Register lone working entries will be closed. So that's slightly different to how it behaves in Time Register. If you remember, if you sign in and then out in Time Register, the second in and the out will be correlated together, and it's up to you if you want to do something different. Lone working works slightly differently, that we just keep signing the person in until we get a positive confirmation that they are no longer lone working. So we'll do that now. We'll sign in once again, and this time we'll say we're not lone working. Sign on, acknowledge notice, continue. Are you lone working? No. Thank you, that's been recorded. So again, I'll come here, I'll just click away and then back to lone working, and you'll see that both of the outstanding lone working entries were closed at 2012 because the system received a positive confirmation that that person was no longer lone working. Now, remember how we said when you sign on, unlike with just Time Register where it can work online, if you've selected yes, I'm working alone, it will have to contact HOPS at that exact moment, and if it can't, then it will still accept the sign in, but it'll just tell the user they're not on the lone working register. Well, a sign out is not so strict. A sign out or a sign in where the person is not lone working will just be stored up on the device in the normal way. So there is possibility of a lag in signing out, but obviously that's a right side failure. No lag on signing in, which would be a wrong side failure. There is a second way that users can appear on the lone working register, and that's the manual way. If they either phone up or call into the office and speak to the duty officer or whoever and say, oh, I'm going to be lone working, can you add me to the lone working register? So the second way, not going via Time Register at all, is to click up here, for a manager to click up here, start new lone working registration. They pick the person from the list and click add to lone working register. Very simple. There we are, Donald Beale has been added to the lone working register, was added at 2014, which is what the time is now. And if he were to now sign out using Time Register, it would close this off in the normal way. Just because he signed in or because his entry was started manually doesn't mean it has to be ended manually. And similarly, if we signed in using Time Register, we can still sign the person out manually. So this is the reason for this end LWR link, and if I click on end LWR, this is ending lone working by the manual way. Just a confirmation here, Danny Adamson, you have to tick to confirm just to make sure that you're not accidentally pressing a button to end somebody's lone working. And just a reminder that only the lone working registration will be ended. Just a reminder that only this lone working registration will be ended. Any other lone working registrations from this user will be unaffected. Slightly different to if they had gone into Time Register and said, I am no longer lone working, when all of the lone working register entries that were opened before that particular time would have been closed. In this manual case, it is only the entry that you clicked on that's going to get closed. So there we are now, time off lone working register 2015. The highlighting is just to highlight that's the one you just did, in case you can't find it in the list. And I thought it was more relevant to only close the one that you've clicked on, just to make sure that we don't accidentally get into a circumstance where more is closed than the user thinks is going to be closed. Because the end LWR link is on a row, only that row will be closed. Whereas if Time Register gets a positive confirmation that the person is no longer lone working, it will close all of the outstanding lone working entries. A couple of other little things to do with lone working. I can see the history broken down by year and month in the normal way. So there's the current month and the date and time that everybody signed on and off. I could click on October or the current month because it is currently October. If I went back to September or August, there were nobody because the system didn't exist then. Incidentally, unlike the on-site list, where staff are presumed to have gone home after 20 hours, this is more like the fire register. If somebody's been signed on for more than 20 hours, it is less risk to presume they've gone home than to presume they're still in the burning building and commit somebody to going to rescue them. Whereas lone working, there is no automatic timeout once they're on the lone working register, because this is a safety thing. They are on the lone working register until either they give positive confirmation that they're not lone working by either signing out or signing in and saying I'm not lone working anymore, or a manager comes along and presses the end LWR button if they've done it verbally or by calling into the office. I think that is everything to do with lone working. If any other organisations are interested in testing the system, this first stage, this testing, please get in touch and we will set you up for testing it. If you need to switch it off again after you've finished testing, of course, you can go back into the System tab here, press Switch Off, it'll be switched off, and then just remember that the devices might take up to 15 minutes before they notice that it's been switched off again, or you can go round and refresh them. So I hope that's been useful, and not just as a system tool, but as actually genuinely reducing the risk associated with lone working, which is, of course, a almost necessary evil on the heritage railways that we all run. I hope it's nice and straightforward. I hope the users get on okay with it. Please let us know how you get on, and we hope to see you all again.